Hey, everybody. Me and George are here. We're going to be looking at one of his recent games. He said he didn't play well, and we talked about how that's funny because once he gets to 7 down, he'll be saying the exact same thing. And this will probably be under the breakthrough to showdown since we're looking at 2 and 3 Qs and what they should be doing to make that breakthrough. So, George, give me control, which I don't have yet,
Yes, there you go.
and let's have a look. We'll be looking at the Blackstones for the most part, since that's George.
I have made some comments, Lance, but feel free to ignore them or to read them if you
Good,
want. Whatever.
good. Uh, I'm going to comment on this move because I think it's particularly interesting. But let's look at it. Uh, let's look from White's perspective for a moment. If White plays here, Black can approach from a friendly side. We all know about this. And if White plays here, Black's approaching from an unfriendly side. Black's now inside White's little area. It all makes sense, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if the next Black move is to be kicked off, isn't this allowing White to play in a friendly area? Well, wait a minute. White should be playing the empty corner, which allows Black to make the correct Shamari facing his own 4-4. So for Black, this is actually the correct place and not, correct. That's the totally inappropriate word, not correct. Because now what's Black do? Well, now he's playing. It's a fine move. Anyway, there's a lot to think about here, and volumes have been written about it in ages past. And it's a funny topic hearing the Nine Dons talk about which one's bigger. Okay, that was a small thing. Here we go. Yep, it's certainly fine up to 3 down without a problem. White here, funny move.
Mm.
White plays side instead of corner. What in the heck does that mean? It might be okay because if White plays corner, Black might say, I'm going to get extra points on the right by pinching you. And if White plays here, Black's not going to get extra points by a pinch because White's fine. Although White already gave away the points because he didn't play in corner. So there's some theory there
Mm.
that's hard to get through, but corners first is kind of basic. Okay, good. Don't attack it. We can't attack that White stone. There's no attack there. He's on the fourth line. Good move. 8. 1 versus 1, no need to respond. Playing at A is in a bigger area. And you're saying in response to this.
I'm instead of that move, the double approach is perhaps bigger than responding, but I'm not sure if I really agree with.
I
But I
see.
mean, the left is completely open, so I guess that's what I was referring to. The left is open, but the top is more narrow.
Yeah. So where's next biggest? Tough question. Uh, let's go with things that are big enough. A, sure, sure. Yeah, take control. A, big area, big control. Black B, sure. Defend yourself about Black C, sure. Third line, one fourth line. Yeah, all works out. What about Black D? Too early. It's not corner, not a severe attack, not a big area. So D's not in the running. This D, yeah. So I'd say these four moves are all the most straightforward.
Yeah.
I guess we should add E. Okay. So a fine move. But let's just add when we play this move, we're looking for efficiency on top, right? To close the skirt. Let's just say white plays away. Then here we have a classic shape. Fourth line down to third line, everything's closed. While here, we're saying we don't want the top. Our A is low, our B is low and settled. Now C is plenty far away. We're not being over concentrated, but we don't want to be playing in the D area because C and B both say we don't want that. I went over that quickly. Make enough sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Lance, one question.
Yeah.
So you said that B is okay because it's a defensive move, but I guess you could also say that that 4/4 stone doesn't need any defense because we have our three options without it. So
Yeah.
so if it's not defense, then perhaps playing on the left is bigger.
Yeah.
Uh,
So why do we see
okay,
this
yeah, sure.
all the time? Why is it valuable? Um,
Otherwise, we're giving our opponent control in that area, right? There's a 2-on-1.
yeah.
Yeah,
So if we play here first, we get value there first. But that allows white to get more value here. So
yeah,
there's value wherever we go.
and they're
Why
all
do we respond?
yeah,
Well, there's really no need, but now it's 2-1 in our favor. Everything's fine, or white can't pounce on us or anything. So yeah, defense is a perfectly valuable thing. But again, let's remember we don't want this move. We don't want the top because our B stone is low and settled. It's done. We don't want another stone there. Done.
yeah.
Q players play here all the time saying, oh, look at that. No, no, that's inefficient. Okay.
And I just said that playing that move at B wasn't defense because we already had our three options, but that's actually not true, right? I mean, because B is still a defensive move. It's just that that stone didn't need defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Valuable move.
yeah,
Stops white from messing with us, but not urgent, not
sure. Okay,
necessary.
cool.
And of course, the last, since we're here talking about a lot of little details, I tend to get too caught up in those things. If we look in the upper right now, black has a certain amount of desire to defend. If we add the white stone back, there is more desire to defend. Still not necessary. So, in other words, how about now? Oh, even more desire. How about now? Oh, it's getting more and more and more desire to defend that stone, but it's still not necessary.
Mm.
You're just going to get hurt more and more and more. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I like this move by white. The only problem is since black doesn't want that area, yeah, I would come up, not over. This this black move looked incredibly flat to me. The top is like, what are you doing up there?
Mm.
Oh, I don't like that at all. Yeah, like this one. Uh-huh. Oh, I'm so curious what you did.
My feeling is that after Black played that attachment at N16, that White kind of needed a follow-up move. I was expecting something like N14, although it doesn't perhaps look very good in
Right.
this situation. So when White played away, I thought, oh, perhaps I should follow up, but it seemed like it turned into a light stone.
Uh-huh. Yeah, hard question, huh?
Yeah,
So, white, black says, I'm going to get you. I don't care. Hmm. That's hard to solve. How does one see this plainly? Okay, so let's break it down. There's two stones in question, the A stone and the B stone. Black just got pinched, so B stone's in play, and A ignored. So two weak things. It's all obvious so far, right?
yeah,
And we're just trying to think through it. Okay, so we're just gonna A comes first, so I'll start alphabetically. So we'll start there. If we do nothing, we'll. So the two questions. If we do nothing, what can white do? And if we do something, is that valuable? So if we do nothing, I don't know. White has five stones in the center, and they all seem to be perfectly working together. That bothers me a lot. How am I supposed to do this kind of thing when Ninji's out? It's so easy for white because of that last stone. Okay. So let's say I do respond, and I'm just going to pass for white. All of a sudden, this has significantly more meaning. So I think this punishment works in the situation significantly. You
Now I do, yeah. Um, and
seems to
and
have a lot.
and also we haven't yet invested ourselves in the F17 stone at all.
Yeah, we
So
haven't looked up there yet.
yeah.
And yeah, granted. And notice we can't be cut because we can just kill the thing if we want. So
Mm.
there's no cut here. So nice, powerful move, reaching out to the center versus no center access at all. We can't get in there. It's closed off to us. So that's
Mm.
pretty big.
Mm.
Okay, next question. What about B? Well, if we do nothing and white says, "Oh, I'm going to get you," well, we're out. We can go second line if we want. We can just run out if we want. It's not like we're being. It's not horrible at all. Kind of ordinary. So between the two, seems to me A is more valuable.
Yeah, and I guess also when we have the N15 stone in the Hane, coming out at B has more of an effect on that top
Oh
side.
yeah, we look at the same thing. I mean, that top side, white's getting a little worried. Yeah. So that's what I would come up with is hit the A stone. Is this black move, is it a good, rational, profitable? Oh yeah, all the above. Yeah. We we might allow white, it might be a little better for white than black, but it certainly is a rational move.
Yeah, my thinking was that it perhaps wasn't really paying much attention to what's really going on the board.
Yeah, I think that's the right way of saying
Yeah.
it. And now white's better than ever.
Mm.
It's just reaching all over the place. Yeah. This isn't necessary.
And presumably white should have come under at F18 instead of E17.
We're all pretty familiar with this.
Mm.
And then the answer is yes, clearly, without a doubt. Up here, I haven't done a lot of research, the difference now. That being the case, I would play what white did
Mm.
because I'm familiar with it. It's like, gosh, there just seems to be a awful lot of gaps in here, right? Gaps everywhere. I don't know how to deal with that, so I would play his move. But again, I don't know. But this is not necessary. So it feels like black's got a free move.
Mm.
Under, small,
Yeah.
yeah. The honey out to the center seems bigger.
Yeah. I mean,
Granted,
this in review, I realized it's not defensive. It's not defending, not attacking, and not playing in a big area.
yeah. Your thoughts here? Anything strike you as thinking maybe you should have done something else? Not that I'm trying to give you a hint.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is that P3 is low, so that might mean that we might want to go to the corner instead. But I'm not sure if that really works because if white comes out at N14, then I'm giving white a massive chance in the center. But
Yeah. So how do we see this situation? how would you break this down? And we're looking at the bottom right. What?
At the bottom right, I was just thinking of the bottom. That was
Right. And so if the first thing I would do if I'm breaking down the situation is to look locally. What's going? White just
okay.
played. Is there a need? So that's why I'm
Okay.
presenting the bottom
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's the
Sure.
first place to look. Once we solve that, then we can see if something else applies.
Yeah. Well, now you mention it, N3 looks pretty impressive for white. That black group suddenly kind of constrained to the corner, and white plays on in the biggest part of the board while putting pressure on my two stones.
Right. So this Shamari, people tend to think of the Shamari as a strong formation. It's not at all. It
Yeah.
barely takes the corner by one liberty. And in this situation, white simply walks in and takes the corner. I mean, black is almost forced to play this or else give away the corner and barely be a running group. I mean, it's this, I mean, this approach affects black a lot. As far as next moves, we saw in three, how about this guy? White's building the right a lot,
Mm,
and you're about to get surrounded.
yeah.
So the answer's here, which isn't thrilling. So that brings us to this black move. Now, let's try to avoid things like what's best. What would AI say? What would God play in a move? Let's avoid all that and go, well, first, our corner's solved. I don't care what he does. We're great in the corner. Now, the bottom's nice and big.
Yeah.
We have a wall. What else? Excuse me. Hello. We are so prepared. This is a strong black move.
Yeah.
Corner, bottom, right. Very profitable move. And again, I'm not ready to say right. I don't know right and wrong, but this is a strong move.
Yeah. And
And I've seen professional nine downs play it in this situation.
yeah. And perhaps if I had gone through the list in this situation, perhaps I might have come up with something because I mean, after all, I didn't even consider that I was in any trouble here after R6. But having if I had asked that question, that initial question of how many weak groups do I have, perhaps I might have been able to see that that potentially is a weak group.
Yeah. Let's spend a moment talking about the list. uh, let's. Um, this is going to take a minute, but I think it's important, so we're going to do it. And I'm in charge, so I say we do it. Okay. We've seen this before. This isn't a go position. This is the three questions. This is the list. And so many of you know this, but the list is going to get you through any position. How should I think about the board right now? So you look around, you ask question one, which is, am I okay? Do I have a weak group? How many weak groups do I have? Is there an important stone hanging out there that's, I have to save it immediately? And so you ask, is do I need to defend something? And it turns out, yeah, my A entity, stone or group or whatever it is weak. Great. Then all things being equal, which sometimes they're not, we're going to be defending our A group. Then you go through the list again. Okay, as I'm defending my A group, is there another, we're on number one now, another black entity that needs help? Oh, holy cow, there is one. I can defend A and B. You just came up with a wonderful two-purpose move. Back to the top of the list. Can I do A and B? And you start, oh, I can do that as I attack, and I can do all those three things as I make it a bigger move that's a four-purpose move. So you go through the list. Okay. That being said, and we get back to our position, and we ask, how's that A group? Am I okay? Check A, B, C, everything. How about A? Well, I have to be healthy. I got plenty of ways. Yeah, I'm healthy. Okay. I went through that whole process first to remind people and then to show people. Some people don't know it. But mostly I did it to show how annoying it is. It takes time. Check all your groups, check all his groups, check all the big areas. Go through the list again. What an annoying, time consuming thing to do. So let's go through the list. Oh, time, go through the list again. Go through the list again. Go through the list. Oh my God, I'd shoot myself. This is why I tell my students don't do it more than once a week. It's hard and time consuming and annoying every move, but it trains your mind. That's the purpose. It trains your mind to think like strong players think. That's the purpose. Okay, let's say we're somewhat trained and somewhat have a habit. Well, if you're in the habit, as I am, boom, it takes no time. As a matter of fact, you transfer the list to, you simply notice your weak groups. You've been watching them the whole game. How could you not know you have a weak group? Q players don't know because they don't pay attention. Don players know, oh, I have a weak group. They don't have to ask, they simply know. So it's much faster. So what I do, put stones down, put stones down. All of a sudden, let's look at this move. Black to play, and I'm like, I pause. Why did I pause? I don't really know. Ooh, bell goes off. I don't know what to do. Take a quick casual look. Do I feel better now? Oh, yeah, I feel back on track. Great, now I know what to do. Or I still don't know what to do. Maybe I'll start going through the list. Am I weak or not? Well, I'm kind of weak. I'm not sure, but are you weak or not? No. Well, then don't do it for defensive reasons. So I go through the list on the moves where I sniff something out, like I'm not seeing things clearly. I don't know what to do. That's when I start doing the list thoroughly. Okay, that was me on a rant. And I've told this story more than once. And here we are talking instead of playing Go, but I got to tell the story. So sorry I have to tell the story. Here I am in a tournament, open section, playing Korean 4-Dan professional. And I'm doing great. Now, I did make an early mistake, and I'm, let's say, 2 points down, which against her is game over. But still, I'm playing well. Finally, about move 75, game's gotten pretty complex. And all of a sudden, I look down, and the board looks like a pile of spaghetti. I do not get it at all. I'm lost. Oh, no problem. I know how to handle that. A quick glance, it'll clear up. Nope, didn't clear up. Okay, let me start going through the list. Usually by the time I ask 2 or 3 questions in the list, everything clears up. Nope, didn't clear up. I went through the entire list, start to finish, completely. And I had no emotional connection, only one stupid move that popped out as the only thing I could think of. God, I was so embarrassed to play this move. George, you have no idea. I didn't want to put it down. It was so embarrassing. I simply didn't know what else to do. So the game continues, and I finally resign on move 175, I think it was. She went, recorded the game, then she comes back and she says, pardon me, you remember that move you played? I go, oh God, here it comes. I'm so embarrassed. She says, that move really embarrassed me. I didn't see that move. That brought you back to even. From the 2 point loss, brought you back to even. I didn't see it. And I don't get embarrassed that often. So I'd like to give you this, one of my signed book as a gift to thank you for showing me that move. Like, holy cow, the list works. To me, it was like my list works. And I love that story. It was very
Great story.
meaningful to me.
Yeah.
Um, Also, that was the second time I met her. She was out from Korea visiting with her boyfriend, and she'd heard about me, about my lessons, and she didn't understand how I could do this. So she came and visited two of my lessons and took notes. I was so nervous. She's sitting there taking notes, and I'm like teaching this guy basic things. That was funny. Secondly, we asked her, "Oh, does your boyfriend play Go?" No, no, he's only 5Q. That was hilarious. She's completely serious. Oh no, he doesn't play. He's only 5Q. So I gave him about a 20-minute lesson. He was beside himself. He never heard any of this. He was so excited about
Uh,
Go now because I spent a couple minutes and she was like, "Oh, I would never." Because, and I told her, well, first of all, what you're trying to do is get Go players to professional level. I would never consider that. What I do is give them some sort of understanding of this amazing game so they have some depth to some understanding. That's all I'm doing.
mm.
And to her, well, that's stupid. Who wants to understand? Just read it out. So it's completely different. So here I am with stories and all this stuff, and we'll get back now. I can still see the look on his face. He's like, "Holy cow! I've never seen this before." Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. So another 6 months go by, and I'm called upon to do a demonstration game with her at my local club. And I did this. I can't believe what I did. I adopted an attitude of no big deal, like I was some professional player. I adopted this disgusting attitude, and I gave a horrible performance. I was like, what was I thinking? I don't know. Now, I had a horrible headache, and she had a migraine. So the game went bad for both of us. But I'm like, I'll just, and no, I can't do that. I had to think about every move and play well, which I didn't. Very embarrassing. Okay, now we'll attempt to get back to the game.
So Lance, if we go back a move, back a
Yeah.
couple of moves. So I probably shouldn't have let. I mean, that white R6 move was presumably a pretty good move. Um, so instead of, yeah,
Um, is that a pretty good move for white? Well, let's see. We'll look at the white black exchange. Is white better in this exchange? No, white's weak. Oh, but white, that's a small area.
mm,
White going to take it this way? It's still not a big area, still a small area.
yeah,
So, in regards to white getting something, no. Did white disturb our corner? No, white increased our corner.
mm,
This is a terrible, I would say this is a bad exchange.
okay. So instead of M18, I should have just played, say, F3 or something along those lines.
Just probably the next.
Yeah.
Um, we could say this isn't interesting because black's position on the bottom doesn't, we could say the same thing here. So how about just hitting a 3-3?
Yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah. Sure.
And this is fine. Let's look at that. If you play our original move, it no longer has meaning on top because white's settled there.
Mm,
It only has meaning on the right, but it's white's move and white can just do whatever.
mm,
So this has lost its meaning. Uh, but the center is still interesting. So this black move does prepare to negate white center. So this is an okay move too, but it seems a little early, right? We have a big corner to go
mm,
to, so
sure.
okay. Yeah, got there. Not terrible. Oh, doesn't attack white, doesn't defend black, doesn't take 1 point. That's
And
nothing, right?
yeah, and I guess so. White probably now would push at d14 to make sure that the left is indeed small.
Oh, I just go do whatever.
Okay, you wouldn't be worried about d14
No,
or
I'd go
yeah,
take anything. This is a great move now. That bothers black big time.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. White's doing great things here. And black's doing nothing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this black, really, white just defended saying, okay, you can't hurt me, then I'll hurt you. Doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
I guess I was just thinking that that's the widest part of the board now, and so I should perhaps develop that area, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But since I'm your low and settled on both sides, so it is a not interesting area.
yeah.
And white's incredibly strong on both, so there's nothing to do there. So someplace else, yeah.
Okay.
In this Joseki, there's always a question about the cut. But we're usually not concerned about it because white hasn't played the bad move of f4. So if white tries to cut now, there's a lot of problems in white's position. But if white tries to cut now, there are no problems in white's position. So I don't think black has the right to honey here.
Mhm.
Now, let's recall that I don't know. But sure seems like a problem to me.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that white defended and played f4, just it doesn't feel quite right, does it? That now black can be aggressive in that area. It doesn't make sense, really. Yeah.
And for viewers, let's acknowledge the Atari give it up, Atari, and horrible things happen. So George did right backing off here. Well, you're certainly getting everything you wanted here, and white's getting almost nothing. This is working out really well. A little scary. Now, nothing works right now, but you're leaving a big hole behind. I'd rather fix the hole personally.
Mm.
This just feels so much better.
Is that not a good exchange for white? Like if so, if black plays at b7 now, um, like I see that white stone could potentially be useful, and the b stone is just me playing in what would be my area. So that's why
That's
I'm
a
thinking of
great question.
playing. I'm playing on the outside. Um, yeah.
Yeah, great question. Okay. If we look here, what's black hoping to do? Take it where I want points on the left. Well, what are you going to do about the two weaknesses? Well, I don't know what I'm going to do about them. Boom, 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 boom. Just a second. Boom, boom. Oh, I have no weaknesses.
Yeah.
What did white get? White simply added, gave me a stone. White got nothing. I got fixed. Big time fixed. Oh, but I'll cut you. Yeah, you're not going to cut me. So if white wants to use those, remember this weakness, and there's two ways of dealing with bothering black. One is this way at Sente, right? We're about to kill something.
Mm.
You with me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other one is this one,
Yeah.
because now we have this big hole. Okay. So if I wanted to hurt black on the left, I'd start here. Black probably, since we're looking at the bottom left, I'll have black defend this way, so we don't have to think about all the variations. All of a sudden, does this start to work? Well, this is where I'd start in, right? Oh, what can I do? Is this, oh, one more and I'm in there, so he has to fix and then I'm out? I mean, that's the way in. But when white pushes it like this, well, now you have information. You know how to counter things. So I think it's a bad exchange. The lessons with the pro I took recently, and listeners will be able to see those videos on the YouTube. He's tossing around this term I've heard so much of, oh, that's a bad exchange. And I've never understood. I see my favorite YouTube guy, Dr. Baduk. Oh, that's this. I'm not sure that might be a bad exchange. How would you know what's a bad? I am. So that lesson that really showed me some stuff about what does it mean a bad exchange. Now I can't pass that on at the moment, but it excited me.
I think
Oh man,
I was thinking in review dropping down to B10 would have made more sense.
B10. So same move, just
Yeah.
a little different. This looks ultra defensive to me. I would try anything other than this. Yes, it solves all your problems and takes the points. It's just so many stones for a small little
Mm,
area,
mm,
giving white whatever he wants.
mm.
Um, I'd rather have white live there
Yeah.
than, yeah. So what would I do? My big concern here is this. My group's actually getting in jeopardy here. So maybe the first thing I'm going to do is kick that stone, so that's gone. Then what? I don't think I'm in trouble on the left. There are issues, but I don't think I'm in trouble. So I might come out with this kind of threat. This is a big threat because next we have that's nothing to sneeze about. That scares white. And of course the surround. So I see coming out here as very meaningful. And if white fixes, then the left is so we're in charge doing things. Make some sense?
Yep. Yeah. And something similar happens in a bit, so could get interesting.
Yeah. To play A and not B.
Yeah. In review, I thought actually I should close the gap at B because then
Yeah.
I have no problems. My group's all healthy and safe and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
If you don't play B, then A was you simply passed.
Okay.
A is
Yeah.
nothing. And that's just you just can't let that happen.
A is nothing, but then could you say that White's last move was practically nothing also? So
Oh,
why not play a big
oh.
move instead of,
Well, I took it all the way and now you're cut.
yeah, okay.
So
Yeah.
you gotta say this cut, then he's got this, and it's like,
Mm,
holy cow.
okay.
What?
Yeah.
And now you're not even alive. Ah, well, you can live if you play first. Yeah, necessary.
And this is that basically what happens.
And that's what happens. Oh, you let yourself get cut there? Okay. Okay. Just be real careful here. Out. Out. Okay. Uh,
Probably not Sente. Yeah.
yeah, it might not be Sente,
Don't think
but
it's
you're
Sente.
risking your whole life.
Yeah.
So you better be sure. And you're like, well, I'm on the clock. I can't, I have so many things to think about. Why don't I just take my points? It's the least big end game. Yeah, I would do the same thing. I don't know. And the pro would know immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know if you spent time with pros. I've spent a lot of time with pros, and they're like, oh, boom. The answer's
Yeah.
half a second. They know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
That's so funny. They just know this stuff. They'll look at a situation. Oh, I think that's probably going to be living co. You read it out? No, I just kind of that kind of situation. They just know. Like, well, that's not very fair. Yeah. Okay, this is a little bit interesting.
I guess but because I had already played that M18 move, I really didn't want to play another move in the corner. So I guess
Yes,
that's why I was aggressive here.
right. So we talked about playing A and not playing B means that A was a pass, and that's what it turned out to. Just the A and B stones are nothing. So here, what about the C stone? Is the same thing true if we don't play at D? No. C stone says I'm doing top stuff and I'm very healthy up there. Then you don't need D. So I like that you ignored this.
Mm.
I'm not saying it's biggest. The corner's big, but I like your move too.
I'm not sure about this. I think I could
Yeah,
probably just live in there, right? And not give up those two stones.
but if you give them up, then you capture the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would make go for the life, and I don't know the outcome here, so I would just start here. Contact play. Oh, wrong button. Just a second. Contact play, and then I don't want to read this out. I don't want to make a commitment, so I'll have you decide. Let's go this way. Any haunting. And now white has to make a decision. What's white going to do? If white tries to somehow save, then I'm out big time and white has problems.
Mm.
This is a big split. And if white Ataris and drops down, well, that doesn't work. That dies. So that's a common practice. Get some light option moves, and then the path will show itself.
Mm.
And once you're used to that, then the patterns start. Oh, that pattern, that pattern. I know what's going on. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't, it's a hassle. Yeah. Yep. Nice and clean. Okay. Let's make this the last position that we'll look at today. Walk me through. You have control if you need it. Oh, you can. I
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
take
you're in
control.
charge of it. So
Um,
talk me through what black should be looking at here.
okay, well, my first thought I remember when playing is that that looks very, very thin. There's a knight's move here and a knight's move here.
Uh huh.
And I just played this move to very cleanly capture this stone here.
Uh huh.
Um, so my thinking, and yeah, maybe this is all a bit convoluted, but this is how I thought about during the game, is that I have quite some significant RG here, and I want to make sure that I use those two stones wisely. And
Mm-hmm.
because of these two gaps here, I felt like I could play around and see what I can come up with. Um, if, for example, if I captured the stone, that would much help my group
Uh-huh.
at A, because this group is still a bit uncertain. So if I captured something, that would really help my A group.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Okay, let me step in.
yeah,
Give me control for a second.
you have control.
Okay. I'm going to repeat what you said on a different part of the board. This A and B are both Aji. We see this C group. I mean, it is cut and it only has a few liberties. So I would like to use the Aji at my disposal, perhaps because we know he's got a thin over here and there's Ataris coming up. This is all true, just like yours was true. And we could say the same thing in other places. But that doesn't mean anything yet.
Yeah.
So, how do we assess this, Lord?
Yeah, yeah. So I should have thought about it in terms of the strength and weaknesses of groups. So I will take back control. So How is my A group?
It's the
Well,
only question you have to ask.
uh, yeah. So my A
You
group is a
have to know
potentially
what's going
is a group that I need to consider. I just finished off the B situation with this move,
on. Uh-huh.
and I'll leave that there. My C group is behind enemy lines, but I have a clear option
Yeah, they
to
look
run
healthy.
on the side, and
Yeah.
I have an eye, and I can possibly get out too. And yeah,
So you're defending the A group.
yeah,
Great.
okay, yeah,
Now we plug in enemy control again.
yeah. The
And
RG
let's look at the
situation.
difference here. This is really great stuff. Okay. We're defending the A group. And now we look at the Aji of the B stones and the Knight's moves at this two C spots. Oh, with the A group in mind, well, that kind of leads me to this idea, right? That's two free moves helping my group. Let's start cutting through here. He says, no, you can't cut through. Really? Yeah, you can't cut through there. Holy cow, look at all the moves I've got
Mm,
helping that center group using the tools. We're not about to use these tools in regards to the center group. It doesn't mean anything. So we use the tools that you had in mind, but aiming at the center group. And this is all great stuff. We're like, now White's really afraid of this. So White's going to do something about that. Let's have White do this so he's not cut anymore. And now we can start aiming down to that other. So you take the things and you
mm.
apply them to the issues at hand.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's really how to solve puzzles is what's the main thing?
yeah.
How can I go about that? Yeah. Okay, good.
Great.
Well,
Thank you, Lance.
I went on a bit too much here and there, too many details, too much theory, too many stories,
I think
but
people will love it.
but there we are. Okay, viewers,
Okay, thank
we'll
you
catch
all.
you all later. Thanks,
Goodbye.
George.
Thank you.
Bye.